Could Walker Kessler be on the move? Recent updates on the betting favorites show that teams like the Magic, Pelicans, and Lakers are all interested in his services. So, will he be on the move? And are the Magic actually interested in Walker Kessler? We're going to be talking about that today. And Paulo Banchero just had a 50-point game against the Indiana Pacers last night in their win, 119-115. He's playing extremely well. We're going to be also covering everything Orlando Magic basketball over the first 4 games of the regular season. But first, guys, before we get into it, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You already know the deal. It is the easiest and best way to support us over here at Magic Digest. We're trying to build an Orlando Magic basketball community here on YouTube. Okay, diving into the Walker Kessler news first. This is something that kind of caught my eye a little bit, and it was that the Magic were so far up in the betting odds. Plus 800, this ranks as third in the NBA. The usual suspects, Lakers, Pelicans even, Heat somewhere up here, Clippers because obviously it looks like they might want to tear everything down, who knows, and then Bucks, Celtics. Seems like a lot of teams that are trying to add maybe one more piece. Magic could be a one more piece kind of team because they've been playing extremely well, and you kind of think that they could end up being top 3, top 4, or at least get home court advantage in the Eastern Conference, so maybe they're in the mood for one more piece to add to their core, but otherwise, the usual suspects here with the Lakers at the very top of the list. Now, I don't know if the Magic have the facilities to make this trade, but let's look at it from the Jazz perspective first. Obviously I don't know how they feel about every single player on the Jazz. I can only really attest to the Magic's perspective, but it does seem like in a lot of news outlets, they are pushing this Lowry Markkanen deal. That the Jazz are more interested in that, or they're more interested in trading anybody else on their roster. And I didn't really think that Walker Kessler is a guy that's going to be on the block, at least not right now. He's somebody that will have to be traded probably at the trade deadline to, like I mentioned, those teams that are looking for one more piece for their roster to try to really remain competitive or to take that extra step. Get that extra boost. Now, I do think that could be the Orlando Magic. And I do think getting a guy in the front court like Walker Kessler could end up being pretty good. Last year, he had good numbers, 10 points per game, 11 boards. That's pretty good. Not going to stretch the floor for you, but he's going to shoot at an extremely efficient clip from right around the rim. It'll be about at 68% field goal percentage. That is amazing. Obviously, fouls pretty low. As well, and then the blocks, almost 3 per game. I mean, you like that, and I think that the Orlando Magic, he would fit into the identity, the team identity. But is this a deal that you really want to do? Now we're going to talk about the Magic's perspective here. The Orlando Magic re-signed just about everybody, so that kind of puts them behind the curve when it comes to like getting to trade all of them. Most of the players, if you were signed in the offseason, are not trade eligible until December 15th. And then that list could go even further if you signed kind of after that date. Usually it's 3 months after you sign is the rule of thumb. There are players with different sorts of, I don't even know, like asterisks maybe in their contracts. They have a different reason why they might be able to get traded or why it might take a little longer, but the usual rule of thumb is 3 months. And for the Orlando Magic, they re-signed just about everybody. They restructured deals. They extended. They re-signed. They couldn't really give up much to get Walker Kessler. And I don't really think that they're kicking themselves too much. So I don't know if this is really something that could happen. Although I will say I do think he fits the team's identity and potentially where the team would want to be. But you got to figure out more about some of the guys who aren't healthy right now, like Isaac, and surprise, and just see where exactly you want to go. Maybe after this year is whenever you make a deal like that. I think as the team's currently constructed, they're probably good to go. And there's nothing more else to it. Okay, let's get into how great is Paulo Banchero. This is also another reason why I don't really think that this team is going to make a big splash at the deadline, because I think they're going to try to see how far they can get with this current roster. I think that with the Jalen Suggs and Franz new contracts from the last summer here, I think that they know that they're headed towards a cap situation that is not as flexible. but they want to ride this out with this current roster. I think that they see a new ceiling, a newfound ability to defeat teams behind Paulo Banchero that maybe they didn't have last year. And there was a certain point last year in the playoff series that Paulo Banchero was the one guy to show up. Hopefully that's not the case this year, but I think you honestly might be even slightly okay with that because he showed that he can put the team on his back. Now, obviously, I mean slightly okay with it as more tongue-in-cheek, not something that you'd be okay with in a 7-game series every single game, but something that you maybe could rely on when you swing back to your home court, or it's a game 5, or you're maybe on the road and the bench is tightening up and you need somebody to be able to hit shots down the stretch, create for themselves. That is something that I think Paulo Banchero can do. When we take a look at the box score for the Magic Pacers from last night, the Magic kind of let the Pacers back into the game after the first half. Okay? They had a big lead. Paulo Banchero had 37 points at the half. And then the Pacers made a run in the third quarter, and that was what ended up kind of making this a ball game towards the end, and the Magic really took it to them. The Magic had their number last night. If it wasn't for that third quarter, the Magic would have won this game by plenty. And I get that that's a big if, but otherwise, the close first quarter, the second quarter was 23-36 Magic, and the fourth quarter was 26-17 Magic. And you love that 17 because the Pacers 36-23, 39-17, lowest point total in the fourth quarter. That's got to be great. But let's talk more and continue to talk about Paulo Banchero. The biggest and most promising or most hopeful factor from last year was the fact that he increased his efficiency numbers pretty much across the board. We have seen that in the very first part of this season, and he has continued into this fourth game when he had 50 points. He had 50 points on 26 shots. Now, where is everything coming from? Because he made 16 of those 26 shots. Well, it's coming from the free throw line. That was the biggest thing. Got fouled a ton. Got to the rim. 15 of 22 from the line. That is always another promising factor when you're looking at anybody in the NBA. And Paulo Banchero was certainly able to deliver. Franz kind of just got out of the way. 11 minutes, recovering from a bit of an illness there. 7 points in the game. Wendell Carter Jr. added 11. Suggs, 25 points. We were looking for that stat sheet stuffing kind of game. Got it from him. 25, 7, 5. Shot the ball a ton. Shot a lot from 3 and shot pretty well from 3, 6 of 13. So that was something that was also really nice to see last night. Now, I would love to know what you guys think in the comments below, whether or not this team has a newfound ceiling with Paulo Banchero being that undisputed number 1 player, or if you kind of would like to see the team take a swing in the trade market to get a guy like Walker Kessler. Just depends on how things go. Obviously now, Franz was dealing with an injury in the and he missed most of the second half of Monday's game. But we'll see exactly how he'll be. I think he should be okay. There's no reports really saying that he is too beaten and battered. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. But until then, I will see you guys next time with some more Orlando Magic basketball content.